Welcome back to Word Journey English, where we turn English learning into a real-life adventure instead of a boring classroom exercise. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever spent hours studying grammar, reading rules, memorizing vocabulary lists, but when you try to speak English, your brain freezes? You've done everything teachers told you to do. You've taken classes, bought textbooks, watched lessons online. But somehow, your English still doesn't sound natural. I know exactly how that feels, because that was me for years. But here's what changed everything for me. I stopped depending only on classes, and I started experimenting with my own ways to learn. And surprisingly, I discovered 3 simple hacks, 3 daily habits that helped me improve my English faster and more effectively than all the classes I had ever taken. These hacks are easy. They don't cost money. You can start them today. And most importantly, they make English feel like part of your life, not just something you study. So, in this video, I'm going to share the 3 English hacks that worked better than classes and show you exactly how to use them in your daily routine. Let's get started. Why classes alone aren't enough. Before we jump into the hacks, I want to be clear, classes are not bad. Good teachers can guide you, explain grammar, and motivate you. But classes have one big limitation. They're usually focused on rules, not real life. You sit in a classroom, you learn about past tense and conditionals, you take notes, but real communication doesn't follow the same pattern. When you're in a real conversation, no one gives you time to remember a rule. You need to think, listen, and respond in the moment. That kind of fluency doesn't come from theory, it comes from practice, from experience, from exposure. That's why I stopped waiting for classes to make me fluent. Instead, I created my own system, my own way to live with English. And that system started with these 3 hacks. Hack number 1, micro-immersion. The first hack that changed everything for me is what I call micro-immersion. You've probably heard of full immersion, living in an English-speaking country, surrounding yourself completely with English. But for most of us, that's not realistic. We can't just move to London or New York. So I asked myself, how can I create immersion without leaving my home? That's when I started micro-immersion. It means finding small, daily ways to surround yourself with English naturally in the background of your life. Here's how I did it. I changed my phone and apps to English. Every time I checked the weather, read a notification, or opened YouTube, I was practicing English without effort. I followed English-speaking creators on social media. So instead of random scrolling, I was reading real English from real people. I listened to short English podcasts while I was cooking, cleaning, or walking. Even if I didn't understand every word, my ears started to adapt to the rhythm and sound of the language. I wrote my grocery list, my to-do list, even my phone reminders in English. These things might sound tiny, but when you add them up, you're creating a world around you where English is normal. And here's the result. Your brain stops seeing English as something foreign or difficult. It becomes part of your daily environment, something you hear, read, and use without even thinking about it. This is the magic of micro-immersion. It doesn't feel like study, but it trains your brain constantly. Why it works better than classes. In a class, you might spend 1 or 2 hours a week hearing English. But with micro-immersion, you can expose yourself to English every single day, in small bursts. That repeated exposure builds familiarity, comfort, and automatic understanding. I remember the first time I noticed it working. I was watching a movie with English subtitles, and suddenly I realized I wasn't translating in my head anymore. I was just understanding. That moment gave me so much confidence. So, if you want your English to grow naturally, start with micro-immersion. It's simple, free, and it works quietly in the background every day. Hack number 2, shadow speaking. The second hack that worked better than any class I took is called shadow speaking. This technique is powerful because it connects listening, speaking, and confidence all at once. Here's how it works. You find a short clip of a native English speaker, a movie scene, an interview, a YouTube video, and you imitate what they say. You shadow their speech, repeating immediately after them, trying to match their tone, rhythm, and pronunciation. At first, it feels weird. You might think, I sound silly. But this method trained my mouth and my ears faster than anything else. Let me give you an example. When I first tried shadow speaking, I used a short TED Talk. I played 5 seconds, paused, repeated, then played again. I focused not just on the words, but on the music of English, the way the speaker used stress, pauses, and intonation. After a few weeks, I noticed that when I spoke English, my sentences sounded smoother, more natural. I wasn't just translating from my native language anymore, I was thinking in English rhythm. Why does this hack work better than classes? Because in most classes, you don't get enough speaking time. You listen to the teacher, you write notes, maybe you answer one question, but you don't practice speaking continuously. Shadow speaking gives you hundreds of mini speaking moments every day. And the best part is, you're imitating real English, how it's actually spoken, not just textbook sentences. Here's how you can start. Choose a short video clip with clear speech under 2 minutes. Listen once without repeating. Listen again and try to repeat immediately after each line. If it's too fast, slow the video down. Record yourself sometimes so you can hear your progress. When I first did this, I practiced just 5 minutes a day. Over time, that 5 minutes built natural fluency that no grammar lesson could give me. There's another secret benefit. When you copy native pronunciation patterns, you build listening confidence too. Suddenly, you start understanding more in real conversations because you recognize the sound flow. So, hack number 2, shadow speaking, taught me to speak confidently, listen actively, and think like a native speaker. Hack number 3, the 3-minute English journal. Now, let's talk about the third hack and, honestly, my personal favorite, the 3-minute English journal. You might be thinking, a journal? Isn't that just writing? Yes, but the key is how you do it. This is not a grammar exercise. It's a short, daily writing habit that helps you build thinking confidence in English. Here's what I did. Every morning, I opened my notebook and wrote for 3 minutes in English. I didn't worry about spelling, grammar, or mistakes. I just wrote whatever came to mind. Sometimes it was, "Today I feel tired but excited for the weekend." Other times it was, "Yesterday I watched a movie in English and understood more than before." It didn't matter what I wrote. The goal was to think in English. Over time, this habit did 2 powerful things. It connected my thoughts directly to English words. It removed my fear of making mistakes. When you write every day, even just a little, you stop treating English like a test. You start treating it like a tool for expressing yourself. And the more you express yourself, the more confident you become. After a few months, I noticed something amazing. My speaking improved, not because I practiced speaking more, but because I was thinking in English every day. When you train your thoughts in English, your mouth naturally follows. Here's how you can start the 3-minute English journal. Keep it simple. Set a timer for 3 minutes. Write about your day, your goals, your feelings, your plans, anything. Don't stop to check grammar or vocabulary. Just flow. After finishing, if you want, underline 1 or 2 new words to look up later. That's it. 3 minutes a day. It's one of the easiest, most powerful habits I've ever built. Why it works better than classes. In classes, you often write for grades or correction. That creates pressure. In journaling, you write for yourself. You build comfort and connection with the language. I still do this today. Even after years of learning, I write short reflections in English. It keeps my brain flexible, my vocabulary active, and my confidence strong. How these 3 hacks work together. So we've covered the 3 hacks. Micro-immersion, surround yourself with English naturally. Shadow speaking, imitate native speakers to sound and think fluent. The 3-minute journal, think in English daily, without fear. Now here's where the magic really happens, when you combine them. Micro-immersion fills your brain with input, words, phrases, sounds. Shadow speaking gives you output. Practice expressing what you hear. The 3-minute journal builds the connection between your thoughts and the language. Together, they form a complete circle of learning. Listen, speak, and think. You're not just studying English anymore. You're living it. My personal experience, before and after. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was taking 2 English classes a week. I knew grammar well. My grades were good. But when I met a foreign coworker, I couldn't start a simple conversation without freezing. That's when I decided to experiment. For 3 months, I stopped focusing on textbooks. I committed to these 3 hacks instead. I turned my phone into an English zone. I shadowed my favorite YouTube creators. I wrote in my English journal every morning. At first, it felt slow, but around week 4, something clicked. I started understanding English conversations more easily. My speaking became smoother. I didn't need to translate everything. By the end of those 3 months, I had more real progress than 2 years of classes combined. That's when I realized fluency doesn't come from studying harder, it comes from using English smarter. How you can start today. You don't need special materials or money to start these hacks. All you need is a few minutes a day and consistency. Here's a simple 7-day plan. Day 1. Change your phone and social media to English. Start micro-immersion. Day 2. Find a short video clip and try 5 minutes of shadow speaking. Day 3. Start your first 3-minute English journal entry. Day 4. Add an English podcast while doing chores. Day 5. Shadow a new video. Focus on rhythm this time. Day 6. Read your journal aloud to practice pronunciation. Day 7. Review the week and notice how your comfort with English has grown. These small steps will start building momentum. Within a month, you'll begin to feel different about English, less afraid, more capable, more confident. Why these hacks build confidence? Let's be honest, many learners know more English than they realize. The problem isn't knowledge, it's confidence. And confidence comes from familiarity. Micro-immersion gives you familiarity with sounds and patterns. Shadow speaking gives you familiarity with speaking rhythm. Journaling gives you familiarity with expressing yourself. The more familiar English feels, the less scary it becomes. And once fear disappears, your fluency grows naturally. I can't tell you how many students I've met who said, "I understand English, but I can't speak it." What they really mean is they don't trust themselves yet. These hacks build that trust. Step by step, you begin to realize, I can do this. I can express myself. I can learn without fear. Common mistakes to avoid. Before we wrap up, let's quickly talk about mistakes learners often make when trying these hacks. Expecting instant results. These methods work, but they take consistency. You won't feel fluent after 3 days, but give it 3 months and you'll see real change. Focusing too much on perfection. When you journal, don't worry about grammar. When you shadow, don't worry about being exact. Focus on progress, not perfection. Trying too much at once. Start small. Even 5 minutes a day is enough. Build the habit first, then expand. A final message: learning English your way. The truth is, everyone's English journey is unique. What works for one person might not work for another. But the key is experimentation. For me, these 3 hacks, micro-immersion, shadow speaking, and the 3-minute journal, worked better than classes because they made English part of my daily life. They turned learning into something I live, not something I study. And that's what I want for you. Stop thinking of English as a school subject. Start treating it like a skill you use, like playing an instrument or cooking. The more you use it, the more natural it becomes. So there you have it, the 3 English hacks that worked better than classes. To recap, surround yourself with English through micro-immersion. Train your voice and ears with shadow speaking. Build your thinking habit with the 3-minute English journal. Each hack is simple, but together they're incredibly powerful. They build the daily rhythm of English in your life, and that's what creates real fluency. If you found this video helpful, please like it and subscribe to Word Journey English. This channel is all about helping you find practical, realistic ways to make English a natural part of your world. Leave a comment below and tell me which of these hacks you're going to try first. I read every comment, and I love hearing about your progress. Thank you for being here, for believing in your journey, and for taking one more step toward confident English. I'll see you in the next video, right here on Word Journey English.